Have you ever stopped to think that maybe some of your deepest personal qualities, the ones that feel like they're just part of you, might actually shape how stressed you get?
Hmm.
Well, our deep dive today looks into this idea that your zodiac sign could actually make you more prone to stress. Our source treats it as a real thing.
Exactly. And our source here is trusted astrology.
Hmm.
So what we want to do is really unpack what makes certain signs, according to them, more likely to feel specific kinds of stress.
Right.
And crucially, why that matters for you listening right now and what you can maybe do about it. Think about your own life as we go through this.
Okay, let's get into it then. The source, Trusted Astrology, jumps right in with some specific signs. And honestly, Libra. I wouldn't have expected Libra on a most stressed list. They seem so diplomatic.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But what the source points out is how that very strength, their diplomacy, their drive to please everyone and sort of serve justice to every single request,
Yeah.
that becomes a vulnerability. Well, it turns them into the ultimate yes person. They just can't say no because they want that harmony. But then they spread themselves way too thin,
Ah, okay. So they get depleted.
totally depleted. Social energy gone,
Huh?
feeling frantic, unstable, especially if they feel like their efforts aren't seen, or worse, if they face rejection.
Oof. Okay, so what's the advice then? What does Trusted Astrology say Libras should do?
It's pretty straightforward, actually, but probably hard for a Libra. They need to learn to say no.
Yes.
No. Well, strategic rejection, as the source puts it, it's not just about time management. It's like an act of self-preservation. And apparently, it reduces their stress, makes them more impactful when they do say yes.
Makes sense. Okay, switching gears a bit. Sagittarius. They're known for being driven, resilient. You'd think stress wouldn't touch them, but they're on this list too.
They are. And according to the source, their big challenge is, well, it's described as indecisiveness or an unsettling attitude. Yeah, like they jump from one passion project to the next really enthusiastically, but then they get caught in this perfectionist's curse.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right? It's not just high standards. It's this chase for an impossible ideal that just stops them. They doubt everything they produce. And seeing others move forward, that creates huge pressure.
So they just look busy.
Kinda, yeah. The source calls it a productivity facade to hide all that inner anxiety.
Okay, so for Sagittarius, what's the path through that?
The advice is slow down, focus, commit to one thing consistently. Use that natural resilience they have, that inability to give up, but channel it instead of scattering it.
Got it. Channel the energy. Now, Gemini, often seen as, let's say, unpredictable. The internet certainly has fun with them, but the source says they're actually really stressed with themselves.
Yeah, and this brings up a good point about their nature, that fickle-mindedness, which can seem dynamic on the outside. Internally, it can mean a real lack of stability and control.
How does that play out?
They might make impulsive choices they don't really mean, leading to them being, no-shows or ditching plans. And that creates a negative vibe around them.
Okay.
But the source suggests it's often driven by insecurity deep down, like a fear of becoming boring or stagnant if they aren't constantly shifting.
So what helps Gemini?
They need to consciously push against that tendency,
Mm.
bring in more clarity, because those irrational acts, they just end up making the inner anxiety worse.
Interesting how these traits are double-edged swords.
Exactly. And it's not just these three. The source briefly touches on others too, like Virgo, who gets overwhelmed easily but then escapes, maybe losing sight of bigger goals,
Right.
or Pisces getting lost in tiny details and missing the overall picture.
Mm.
And Capricorn, who might seem stoic but is actually quite emotionally sensitive, leading to miscommunication or bottling things up.
And there's advice for each.
Yep, tailored advice. Like Virgo's toning down reactions, Capricorn's focusing on clear communication. It's all about understanding the specific pattern.
Wow. This whole dive really highlights how stress is, well, unavoidable, but also how deeply personal it is, tied to who we fundamentally are.
Absolutely. And that's the main takeaway from Trusted Astrology, really. It's about self-awareness. Observe your patterns, thoughts, attitudes, emotions linked to your sign. Notice your triggers.
And then look inward.
Look inward, exactly.
Right.
Figure out how you can manage it, maybe even overcome it. Because, yeah, some stress is normal, but too much, obviously unhealthy. Don't let it get you down.
Makes perfect sense.
So here's something for you, the listener, to chew on. If these inherent qualities, maybe even bestowed by the universe, contribute so much to our stress, what other innate strengths do we all possess, regardless of sign, that we could uniquely tap into